Hey guys, I wanted to do a video on my new setup now that I'm back in the Winchester. It's set up, I've been using it for about a week now, and maybe less than a week. But I got everything in here, everything's copied over, everything's set up. And I wanted to show it off and also talk a little bit about why I did this. Someone left me a comment that they were confused, and so I thought I'd talk about it a little bit, maybe get some clarity. Anyway, I didn't bring my my Franklin Quest binder out here to show side by side how much bigger it is than this, but this is my 1989 Winchester. I've shown it many times before. Absolutely love this thing. It's fantastic. And my setup is actually, I've basically always gone for sort of a very Baroque, I describe as Baroque setup in my file effects planners that have these very intricate, involved setups with lots and lots and lots of stuff stuffed inside. This one I really I was kind of craving some simplicity. So you'll see basically the entire contents are basically on white file effects paper. I'm only using one pen. It's black ink. It's this Zebra G301. It's the gel version of these pens. These are one of the few pens I found that fit this tiny pen loop. They write fine. I had the 0.5 and the 0.7 millimeter mechanical pencils, and I also had a ballpoint. I bought this in a 2-pack at Staples for about $5. So for a $2.50 pen, this is a really nice pen. It's a stainless steel barrel. It's lightweight. It has a little textured, a little sort of ribbed plastic here, so it's not terribly, it's got a good grip on it. It's not something I would want to sit down and write pages and pages and pages on, but it definitely fits the bill for use in a planner. It's got a very smooth flow. It's a little wet, and gel ink that's a little wet is a little messy, because if you don't give it a few seconds to dry and you touch it, you smear it across the page, which but anyway, it's not a big deal. But anyway, yeah, so I've got, everything is white in here. I've got white tabs. These are two-letter, this is a white slimline address book. And I can't show it to you because I don't think I have any pages that don't have people's numbers written on them. Probably not. Well, here's one. So this is what they look like. And basically all I wrote on these, I wrote names and phone numbers, names and account numbers, prescription numbers, model numbers of different appliances around the house. I really kept it down to kind of basics. I used to carry around complete, it's like I had everybody's, their name and address and email address and phone number and sometimes their birth date and their children's names and everything, and I still have all of that, but I realize I don't really need to be carrying all of that around with me all the time. There's people who I write letters to on a regular basis, so I've got their addresses written down. Those addresses only fill up one address sheet, so the rest of so that dropped my page count down by probably about 20 pages, which is awesome. And then all of my other like I had before, like I've had for all my setups basically, between these tabs is indexed all of my stuff. So next week I'm taking a bus to New York. I've got my bus ticket in here. I've got a list of books I want to read. I've got ideas for a blog post. I never write blog posts anymore, but anyway. A sheet of birthdays and anniversaries. I have notes of things to talk about with colleagues. I have project notes. I have brainstorms. I have all of my... a lot of the pages I'm using in here came from Kristen, who very kindly sent me a big stack of pages. I took everything I wanted, and thankfully Juan wanted everything else. So she sent me a white and a cotton cream diary, week on 2 pages. She sent me these finance sheets, and she sent me day planner pages. She sent me some stickers and Post-its and flags and stuff. And since I'm pretty minimalistic in terms of Post-its and flags and stuff, Juan just took all of that and was happy to put it in his. So, and he took the cotton cream week on 2 pages. So anyway, everything's going to good use. But in my Franklin, in the Franklin planner, I had started using I had started keeping my account registers in the planner. That was very much inspired by Patty from Homemaker's Daily's post on using your planner to manage your finances. It works really well. I don't keep my household, like the shared account that we both write checks off of and use, but I have a personal account and I have my business account, and I keep them both in here, and that's been really easy. What I did, I couldn't move when I chopped the Franklin Covey check register page down. It punched holes in the line where you put. Can I show you this? Give me a quick view. So it cut into the column where the check numbers go. And I thought kind of made these sheets useless, so I did switch over to the Filofax variety. These are, I did basically, I only use these for checks, and so these separate columns are kind of useless. But anyway, that's working great. That's fine. And the fact that I have to turn the planner 90 degrees to write in it is not ideal, but I think that's fine. And I did cut and insert my old check register so I can refer back. I need to keep this stuff in one place. I can't have it sort of parceled out. And I think that was one of my issues with having Franklin Covey stuff, is that you can't. It doesn't fit. It's a totally unique size. Nobody else makes that size. And while I know people put it in their Filofax, I personally would never be able to put up with my pages being all different widths and sticking out of the binder. That would just drive me insane. It looks stupid. You're going to damage the ends of your pages. It makes it hard. Your tabs become useless if they're the Filofax size tabs because they're hidden behind the Franklin stuff. So it's just not ideal. Anyway, I keep expense sheets. I'm not going to show them to you for each of my rental properties. On the front side, I list all of the expenses that I pay, and on the back side, I list all of the payments that come in. And so that makes it easy, like in one glance, to see all of that. I also account for all of those transactions in my check registers. So anyway, I have goals, I have more goals, I have health insurance, health information, a grocery list, etc. So it's all still in here, basically very much not different. Most of these pages just moved over from my... These pages had gone from my Filofax to the Franklin Quest binder, and now they're back in here. Some of the things that I wrote in Franklin size pages that I had made myself, I just cut off one side or the other of the sheet by 1/2 inch to cut off the least amount of words written out, and punched them again and stuck them in here. So, yes. Anyway. Schedules, rosters, all kinds of stuff in here. What I wanted to do, because I lost, since I'm not on week on 2 pages, or day on 2 pages anymore, and I don't have a free page for notes, I wanted to kind of be able to quickly really use my note section well. So, Kristen sent me a frosted page marker. The frosted one is my note section. It's actually a page behind because I overflowed yesterday, but the idea is that each day I'll move this to where the blank space is currently. So as I fill up pages, I'll just move it to the next page. So when I need to write a note, I can just flip. And then my hope is that when I do weekly reviews, I can look through the notes that I've taken over the course of the week and put them where they need to go. So if it's like a future project plan, I can schedule it, I can file it, I can put it on a list of things to talk about with somebody else, whatever it needs to do. So my hope is that I've sort of been doing that before, and I just wanted to sort of formalize that because I don't have that note space on the diary pages themselves. For the diary, here is the beginning of this week. So I've got, I opted to use the white, partially just because I wanted to keep everything white, and partially because I liked that the 5 business days of the week have larger spaces to write. So I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then over here I've got Monday, personal and work, Tuesday, personal and work, Wednesday, personal and work. And so Lori made a post today about how she wasn't able to make File Effects planning pages work for her. It's a good place to file all of your documents, but contacts and information and everything, but that these don't work that well for her. And I agree. They don't work well for me either. They do work if I do this. I have to do the hack. I have to have, I think for my mind and the way that I think about planning, scheduling, planning, and task planning need to be visible in the same view, but they need to be separate. I used to try to intermingle, kind of just writing down appointments and things I need to do on that day, on the day's rectangle, and when I got to the day, I couldn't make sense of it. It was just too chaotic, and this sort of keeps that I have a place for personal to-dos, for work to-dos, and for all my scheduling really makes sense to me. It's easy to look at. The fact that they're in parallel across the page works well too. So I'm pretty excited about that. And because I parsed down everything in here, I was able to put the entire year's worth of white week on 2 pages is in here. Of course, I won't be able to keep an entire year's worth of week on 2 pages plus that interleave note to-do page, but I figure I can just add them when it starts to get full. I'll remove the oldest ones and archive them, so I don't think that'll be a problem. I just have to write the date of the week at the top when I archive it so I can put this all back together. I would like to keep as much of this in as possible, including the to-do pages, because I do refer back pretty regularly to see what days things got done, etc. I did go back just to make things easier for myself. I went back to January and copied everything over from my old planners in terms of scheduled things and stuff like that, just sort of the more crucial stuff. So it's all, I can actually see it all in this planner now. What else? I've got one of these vinyl envelopes in the back. I've got some note cards and envelopes in the gusseted pocket back here. I have a receipt I need to file. I have business cards and lots of postage stamps up in these front ones. I don't have anything in here right now, but my business cards are in here and all those stamps are in here. I also have some deposit slips for my bank accounts. So that's the setup. It's really not much different from what I've used before. It is pretty slim. Getting rid of all extraneous stuff, and kind of keeping it simple. I kind of like this, the simplicity of this setup, system, everything. And so I'm pretty optimistic about using this moving forward. Let me show you. I did get those day planning pages that I talked about. So these are the day planning pages. Kristen sent these to me too. I am so appreciative that she sent me all this stuff. It was awesome. Um, you have space for appointments up here, to-dos, and don't forget. I'm not entirely sure what the difference between to-do and don't forget is, but my thought on these, I've got 10 of them in here, and then the back side is just notes. My thought on these is that when I hit points in the year when I'm really busy and I need more space, structure, than what my setup back here contains in terms of the week on 2 pages with the to-do page in between, that I can fill out one of these either the day of or the night before and just fill it all in with what I need to do, so I can just sort of attack my day and just sort of bam, 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 knock it all off. See it all in one page, and that way, like, I have the capacity for when I am busy. So, anyway, going back to talking about why. Well, frankly, it's pretty shallow of me, but this is attractive to me. This is a nice looking setup. Aesthetically, like the sort of the balance on the visual balance on this, the color of the binder, the design of the binder, the design of the pages, like the cleanliness, the white, slightly off-white pages with clean black print, the fonts on the tabs, all of this, I think, my design eye appreciates every part of. Filofax does a lot of that stuff right. I know a lot of people like decorated planners. I actually like them to be simple, simple, simple. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that like them to be simple, simple, simple because, frankly, the most popular planners I see are those Moleskines, and they are simple. So they do sell funky ones now, but most of the ones that I see out and about are just the plain black with that sort of ivory paper inside and black print, and I think that I really appreciate the cleanliness of it. When I was using the Franklin Quest Planner, first of all, the fact that like the system is so big, while I can handle that, it's not a big deal, and it works really, like the system works really well. I have no criticism of how it works. The system works beautifully. It's actually the best day on 2 pages system that I have tried. The paper I can write on it with almost any pen that I own without any problems with bleed through, and not even very much show through. And I like the fact that it's a time management system, and it works as a time management system. But I think that when it gets down to the details, the design of the binders, the fonts used, the colors, the print design, all of that I think looks cheesy. They're just kind of like, the green ink is just not my thing, and the ones that are more decorated are really not my thing. Having quotes on every page, in my mind, is just a waste of my time. I never read them, a single one of them. I don't know what any of them say, but it takes up like a little chunk of my space at the top of the page, which I think is inefficient. The big, heavy green border on the page drove me nuts. But really it's shallow. It's like, it's very superficial of me, but I just think the system is ugly. And for something that I am going to carry around with me every day and look in dozens of times a day and have in my hand all the time when I'm out, when I'm meeting people, this book goes out to meetings with me. It goes into every interview I conduct. It travels around everywhere I go. It's in my hand when I'm shaking hands with people. They see it in my hand, and I want it to say something about me, and I want it to make me happy. And this planner does make me happy, and the clean page designs make me happy. I really like. I know a lot of people don't like Filofax's designs, but I actually, I really like how the visual design of almost all their diary inserts is so much more appealing to me than anything else that's on the market. So the problem is that sometimes they just don't work very well. Like they're day on a page and day on 2 pages that, like, even though they give you all that space, that they like tap out the scheduling, the timed scheduling page ends at 8 p.m. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, whose day ends at 8 p.m.? I mean, even when I work 9 to 5, I do stuff after 8 p.m. And so I don't know. But this sort of, the week on 2 pages in that it doesn't have much. Sometimes this bothers me when I have a lot of appointments, that it's hard to kind of fit them all in and keep them in chronological order in the space. Because if you write one too close to the top, that's late morning, and then you have to squeeze 2 more in before it, and you can't really fit them, and you're drawing arrows to sort of indicate that one is supposed to have. I have a very linear mind about time, and I need, like, if there's something at 8 a.m., it's got to be higher on the page than something that's at 9:30 a.m. and something that's at noon. So I have to be kind of careful about that. I do try to plot them in such a way that, like, afternoon things are near, well, like this. You know, I've got a class at 5:30. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be doing anything after my class. So I did leave space to put something in afterwards, but I put it near the end, near the bottom. And then same thing down here. It's like I had a 3:30, so it's sort of mid-afternoon. So I kind of plotted it sort of towards the middle of the page, because my work day actually starts at 3 o'clock that day. So even if I have some things to do before work, I can fit 3 or 4 things in. I can fit a few things in afterwards. So, and if I go to this week, yeah, I mean, it works pretty well. What I opted to do, I always used a pencil, but since, like, I figure I have enough fudge space. I don't have fudge space on month on 2 pages, but I do have fudge space on this. So I just decided that I can cross it off, which I did. I had something at 10:45 that I decided last minute that I just it wasn't crucial, and I was busy working on something else, and I decided not to go, so I just crossed it off. So that'll indicate to me in the future that I didn't actually go to that thing, so I shouldn't be remembering what happened at it, because I wasn't there. So anyway, I think that's it. I've talked at you for 23 minutes, so I'll shut up now. I hope that this explains to the person who is confused about why I did this, what was sort of on my mind. It really is. I don't have any good reason here. It's totally superficial, and that might seem really silly, but it is what it is. So anyway, but I'm very happy to be back in this, and I think it will work, and I think that I'm going to think harder in the future before I change to a completely different setup, because really that setup worked really well for me, but swapping into the Franklin Planner and then swapping from the Franklin Planner into this was a very time-consuming process, and not something that I necessarily want to repeat. Doing a comprehensive rewrite of, like, all of my contacts and everything was actually good, because I cleaned them up. I got rid of people who I do not call, I did not put in here, and I corrected some things and added some new information, and just sort of made that A to Z index, A to Z if you're not in the US, index, more practical and slim. So anyway, hope this helps people. If you have any questions, ideas, comments, let me know, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.